My dear brothers and sisters, for those who do not understand our language, I'd like to give a summary of everything I have said, and I'll give that summary in English. There are so many ways, so many analyses that we can give regarding the first reading and the gospel reading today. There are many things we can learn because of what St. Paul has written in his letter to the Philippians, which we have read in chapter 3, where he says, I have said this before, and I now say it in tears, with tears in my eyes. There are people who are consumed with material things. We can concentrate on that. We can think about so many things. But the lesson that Jesus wants us to know today is what happened on the mount, where he opened the eyes of the disciples for them to see his glory. And it was necessary for these people on whose faith Jesus built his church to see this glory, to have a glimpse of the glory of Jesus, so that when they will see him later on in his suffering, when they will torture him, when they will make mockery of him, when they will eventually crucify him, that their faith would not be shaken by these happenings, because they already know that the road to that glory of heaven goes through Golgotha. That is what he wants to teach them. But there is a further lesson. The voice from heaven. The voice who once spoke through Moses. That voice spoke to the apostles. And this time around, he's not talking about Moses being the leader of the people. And we see now that the Moses was just a harbinger of the real thing, a type of the fulfillment and the figure of his majesty, the king. And what did this voice say to the apostles? He said to them, "This is my son, my chosen one." What should they do? Listen to him. In our time, my beloved brothers and sisters, we are distracted. Distracted by plurality of all kinds of ideologies and the near disappearance of objective truth. People no longer say, "Tell me the truth." They say, "Your truth and my truth." I always talked about people going from Babel, the confusion of Babel, to the glorious day of the Pentecost. But now, people are abandoning Pentecost to go back to the confusion of Babel. And this state is made worse by the prevalence of social media platforms. And when we wake up from sleep, we are distracted immediately. And people are divided, not knowing whether they should listen to the voice of Christ, the voice of salvation, or they listen to the distractions of all kinds of social media platforms. But today, the Lord reminds us, during this holy season of Lent, that time has come for us to trace our ways back and prioritize that which is the most important. And therefore, the voice says to us, listen to him. The author of the letter to the Hebrews has already written and told us, in time past, God spoke to our ancestors in various ways. We remember the appearance of Moses, the law, and Elijah, the prophets. And God spoke to us in various ways in the Old Testament, but in our time, the last of the times, God has spoken to us through his Son. And when we listen to the Son of God, when we listen to Jesus, what does he tell us? He speaks to us according to our state, according to the condition in which we have found ourselves. Are we confused? Confused by the many ideas that are coming. Jesus teaches us, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. In John chapter 14, verse 6. Are we confused by leadership failure? I remember the people of Nigeria are crying because some criminals have hijacked the governance. People like that, if they talk to Jesus, what will he tell them? I am the good shepherd. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd is the one who lays down his life for his sheep, for his flock. The good shepherd in John chapter 10, verse 10. If we are carrying heavy burdens, the burden of problems in the family or in the place of work, or because of ill health of one sort or another, and we listen to Jesus, what does he tell us? Come to me, all of you who are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke and learn from me, because I am meek and humble of heart, and you'll find rest for your souls, because my burden is easy, and my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. In Matthew chapter 11, if you read from verse 28, therefore, my brothers and sisters, let us today agree that when we go home, we spare time, put away the telephone and meditate on your life in relationship with Jesus Christ. And when you come forward to receive Holy Communion, be mindful of the one you are receiving. He is the one who tells us, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you will have no life in you. In John chapter 6. I pray to the Spirit of Jesus that these words may help us to continue our Lenten observance as Catholics who are focused, not Catholics who are distracted by social media. And I pray that these words may find root in our lives and produce rich harvest through the same Jesus Christ our Lord.